Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are we getting on? Welcome to a brand new Fallout 76 camp build. So, as Fasnacht is running this week, I thought we'd go along with that theme and build a little kind of Helvetia Fasnacht-themed kind of cottage. It's in that general area just outside of Helvetia to sort of set us up for diving into the event and just to, keep the theme running. So, kind of drawn on a couple of bits of Helvetia kits. Let's have a little look at where we are. So a shiny new spot that I've not built in before here. We are not far from Helvetia, as you can see. Just on the north side of the road into the village, there is a little kind of picnic area on top of the hill. We're sort of down behind that and then generally northeastern direction from it. So if you sort of drop down the backside of the hill there a little bit, you'll find a kind of almost a valley, which is a nice little spot. So I've got my first foundation in, and we're doing something I do quite a bit, and a structural core that I like, which is the 2x2 house. Creates a nice little cottage vibe and goes in quite well with the scale and the sort of proportions of all the bits and pieces that are going into a 76 camp. So I'm playing around with the windows here, and it's kind of unnecessary. Unless you know exactly what you want to do with the decoration, then I would generally say just put blank walls in and then figure out the windows afterwards, because I had to keep chopping and changing them before I actually came up with what I wanted in the end. Well, actually, in the end, I kind of settled on most of these, but not all of them. So, yeah, oddly, one would normally arrange one's decoration around the physical features of the house. In this case, we arranged the physical features of the house around the decoration. Kind of. So, yeah, video games for you, but it's all good. So I recently saw a best build with a roof, a glass roof using this rustic greenhouse set, and I thought we'd draw a little bit on that to get some light into this little house, because I quite like the look of it. I'm not going full on as they did in that build, we'll go half and half, but works quite nicely. And then we've got the rustic Helvetia roof up there as well. There are two different Helvetia sets, a rustic one and a not rustic, I think, and I'm kind of drawing on a little bit of both for this build, and it works alright. So there we go, we've got a structure in. It's very, very square, even with the sloped roof, which is helping a bit. And this side in particular is really flat. It looks like it's been shorn off with a knife. So I'm going to have to make some changes to make that shape a little more visually interesting. First up, I'm going to stick a porch on. It kind of feels obligatory on this kind of thing at the moment. I mean, I suppose you don't have to, but it does create a nice kind of complete look and adds a nice sort of entryway. I did think about running this around the side, but it looks way too much like the last build I did if I do that. And there's something else about it that I can't quite put my finger on that's just a bit off. You'll see when we step back in a sec. Yeah, it's just not quite right. So I decided not to do that. I decided to keep it small, and we'll put a little structure on the left-hand side here. So, my first thought was I'll put a little lean-to here, but it's not really any good for a crafting space if I do that. It's fine if you want to just sort of squeeze in maybe one or two little bits, and maybe just put a generator in there or something, and make a bit of a woodshed on the side. It'll work for that, but for what I had in mind, it's just kind of not really working out. But what I did was put these half walls on there on the foundation, and this roof doesn't want to go in for some weird reason. So I'll switch it out to the plain angled one like that, and then once it's in, convert it afterwards and it's in the right place. Which I'll have to do again in a minute, but yeah, it works like that, but you can't close it off properly, and it's not really got enough space for what I want. So changed my mind on that. I've gone for a bit of a side-on entrance to this porch as well. It just makes the sort of angle of approach a bit more interesting, makes the whole thing feel a bit more organic, rather than going front-on. And I will need, eventually, to put those concrete stairs back there next to the ones we've just snapped in, because I'll use their presence for decoration later on, but it'll be something I'll do during the decoration phase. So I thought I'd mention that while I remember it. But we're actually going to extend this foundation out and put a kind of greenhouse on the side, which I will use as a crafting room, because I need somewhere for my workbenches. So we're going to use the rustic greenhouse set. And yeah, it really creates a kind of more uniform shape to the building, makes the whole thing look a little bit better. Uniform shape's a funny thing. If it's boxy, it's not good. In this case, it kind of creates an unboxy, triangular shape that kind of flows a little better, I think. Kind of hard to describe, but it works quite well. So I'm using the rustic set here because it's just a bit more interesting. I like the vibe a bit more, but the other greenhouse set works fine. Especially if you want a modern look, it's better for that. But this one's just a little bit more beaten up and a little bit more organic looking, so I kind of like it for that. Get that corner roof in, which I had to use the straight one and then change it afterwards, because once again it didn't want to snap, probably because of the existing roofs, probably. This one, unfortunately, that doesn't work because I'd have to put it on the front edge. It's just possible, or I could take the roofs off, but still. In this case, I thought we'll just stick a little angled wall and a triangle on there, angled roof rather than a triangle instead, which kind of creates a nice look. So, with the exception of one little change I'll have to make, that completes the structure. So, I'm going to head off and decorate this. We'll have a look at the tour. And here we go. Several hours of decoration later. I am quite pleased with how this came out, especially when you look at it down from the hill here. This is basically where you fast travel in, just a little bit up the hill. It's not a bad view. So, there is a little, I'm not sure if it's an iron or steel deposit here, but when I drop this Vault-Tec extractor on it, it's extracting steel, so that's handy. And the blue goes quite nicely with the blue truck, which is actually a power armor station, which is quite new, and I haven't had the occasion to use yet, because finding the right build for it. But it's kind of on a bit of a weird angle, and the way it sinks into the ground is a bit strange and everything, but it looks like it's been there for ages, so I've built some bits and pieces around it of junk and stuff, just to kind of give that vibe that it's been there for a while. I've got Collectron squeezed in there. I do like this destroyed wagon for the most part, but I don't know why Bethesda chose to make it on fire, because it kind of doesn't go with anything else then, which is a bit strange. Just a plain old wrecked one would have fit in a bit better, I think. But there we go, there's our completed structure. I've added an extra building on this right-hand edge, an extra room rather, because I needed a bathroom. We'll have a look at that in a bit. Got the new flower cart vendor tucked in there, because it kind of goes in with the plants and the nature and stuff. And I've added a few extra bushes and bits and pieces again to make it look like the building's been here for a while. It's one of the drawbacks to the bulldoze feature that removes shrubs and rocks and what have you. Really useful feature. Really glad Bethesda decided to add it, so 6 months after the game came out. But it does clear off a lot of the grass and shrubs that you might want to have to make it look like they've grown back around your house. So adding some more certainly helps with that. Windmill generator on the side and a few extra little details around here. We'll head into our greenhouse. Concertina door doesn't really fit with the greenhouse, but there isn't really a door that does fit with this one, so we'd make it a bit of a feature and add the arch on there. Decided not to go heavy on the merging this time, or at least not in here anyway, and just go for a fairly simple space. I don't have any brewing stations in this build. There are some in my shelter if I really need them, but space was at a bit of a premium without it looking overdone, so I decided to leave them off as I don't use them that much anyway, to be honest. Got a few extra bits and pieces of detail on the side there. Little bits and pieces on the wall. This rose arch, by the way, is sitting on the top step of that concrete staircase that I put in. Which you can't really see because it's under the ground, but it was useful for keeping it in place. Insultbot's chasing me here. I decided to leave him in, though, because it amused me. Nice little place to hang out on the porch there. Just kind of nice, colourful, welcoming, friendly little approach to the house. I do like it. This door, I think, is from the other Helvetia set, but it fits with this one quite nicely. You gotta love Insultbot. And inside we have a fairly simple little layout. It's a spin on what I've done in this kind of 2x2 cottage design before, but I decided to try and make it a little different, put different things in different parts of the room. And I'm quite happy with the look overall. We've got a division between the bedroom at the front there, or sleeping space, and a little lounge area. There's gramophone at the back. Lots of details and stuff on the wall. Be liking this. Divided off the kitchen by using the different coloured floor and walls as well to kind of indicate a different space. The rug kind of brings it back together. I did think about putting a breakfast bar on here, but it just took up too much room, so I actually quite like the way it's tucked into the corner. A kind of country kitchen, that was hard to say, vibe. With the brick wall at the back there, I think, which is quite nice. I did want to use the Tipsy Tom bar set, the wooden one, but when it came to actually merging stuff in there, like sinks and cooking stations, it can be done, but it was such a nightmare to pull off that I just wasn't happy with the hassle and stuff. I just decided to go back to this more modern kitchen look. And actually, it doesn't look as out of place as I was afraid it might. So I'm quite pleased with that. If I was going more ramshackle, it might not have worked, but then the Tipsy Tom set is also quite clean, so that might not have worked either. Here's the little bathroom I had to tuck onto the side. It's just a 1x1 with a flat roof on it. The reason I chose to do this rather than putting, say, an outhouse in was just because of the cleaner style I went for the decoration on this one. I felt that an outhouse and an outside shower just didn't blend with the rest of the style that had gone for the camp. So I put a little bathroom on here, which works quite nicely. matched the floors and the walls in this to the kitchen as well to kind of tie everything together. And yeah, all in all, quite pleased with how it looks. Pity about the toilet behind the door, but squeezing everything in a tiny little space like that is a challenge. Still, we managed. You'd generally close the door anyway, wouldn't you? At least I hope so. Yeah, lots of little bits of detail. There's still actually about a third of the budget left or so on this build, so if I wanted to add more details or little bits and pieces around, I could just drop them in here and there and continue to clutter it up over time and make it appear more and more lived in the longer I stay here. So if that's something you happen to want to do, and you're not somebody who rebuilds your camp every 5 minutes like I do, then it's an opportunity or something to think about for you. But yeah, fog's rolling in, and all in all, I'm quite happy with this cosy little build just outside of Helvetia. Nice and convenient for Fasnacht, which I can just jog over to in about 30 seconds, which is great. So, hope you guys enjoyed that one. If you did, do hit the likes and subs and notification bell. I do appreciate. Social media links down below and channel memberships on the blue join button if you want to support the channel that way. Really, really appreciate it. Very, very much helps out. If you get a chance to join us for live streams as well, we're of course playing Fallout 76, getting into Fasnacht a little bit. And we're checking out Avowed, which has been really good fun, so I hope you join us for that. For now, thank you very much for watching. I look forward to speaking to you all very, very soon.